What is going on, everybody? I am back with another video, and today, guys, we're starting a new series on the channel called Breezy Yaps. Originally, this was going to be a 50-round challenge video. However, I figured to make it a little more laid back, I'd basically just turn it into a yap session. What this series is basically going to be is I'm going to load into a game. It can be anything. Today, it's Call of Duty Roblox Zombies, aka Michael Zombies, and basically just yapping, whether it's about things going on in the gaming industry, stuff going on with the channel, or even just something random going on in the outside world. I know I said that weird, say a lot of things weird, I have a speech impediment, shut your mouth. Anyway, though, on a serious note, this series is basically just to kind of talk with you. You know, let me know in the comments about any of these issues, give me your thoughts, because that's really what I want this series to be about. As always, if you enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. We're on the path to 150 subscribers, and we're almost there. So I really appreciate it if you could help me get there. But yeah, without further ado, welcome to episode 1 of Breezy Yaps. Alright, so we are in this. Like I said, this is the one cabin challenge. So basically the goal is just going to be trying to survive 50 rounds while, you know, having a bunch of zombies running right at us. We should be able to knife them for a good while. Give a small break like every other one. So not bad. Yeah, but I figured, you know, I'm going to use this video as well to kind of do like a bit of a rant type video. Starting with the Operation 1 tournament I did earlier. That was pretty bad. I was planning on making a video on that tournament. Unfortunately, that will not be happening because we got absolutely gobble-smacked. I apologize too for anybody who tuned into that and we're kind of expecting more, because I know me getting absolute belt was a little disappointing. But I mean, the teams were very unorganized, to put it bluntly. A bit of a story of how I got my teammates. The first one, which was Odette Beta, he was my teammate from the beginning, even though it was very unclear whether or not he would still be participating up until the very end. That is absolutely insane gun. I may be cooked here. Wunderwolf. Y'all don't know what the Wunderwolf is. It's literally like the best gun in Call of Duty history. Outside of maybe the ray gun. But yeah, like I was saying, I apologize to anybody who, you know, watched that tournament, because it was kind of a shit show. It admittedly wasn't too well organized. I got the company. It admittedly wasn't too well organized, and a part of that's on me. I definitely should have been more kind of attentive. How you still alive? I definitely should have been more attentive with kind of the details of the tournament. By the way, that's no diss to any of my teammates. Shout out to both my teammates in the tournament. Shout out to the creator of the tournament. He's a super nice guy. It's just, I knew the teams were randomized, but a lot of people were not involved in the tournament that were kind of supposed to. Because, I mean, there was like 40 people in the Discord server. There was literally like 12 people in total in the tournament. So that was a little frustrating. Obviously, I had to pick a viewer from chat to participate in the tournament just to be a dead man team. And that's literally the host word. That's what we were. And I honestly wish there was a little bit more communication there with that, because I honestly don't know if I would have made a stream, or if I would have streamed it and been a part of it, if I just kind of knew that was going to be the case. I'm dead. I'm actually so pissed off at myself. God damn it. So anyway, like I was saying, yeah, I wish I would have done a little more research for real into like the details of the tournament and participation and stuff like that. like I said, I'm not trying to bash anybody. Like, I'm not trying to bash the creator of the tournament or anything. It's just, I really feel like the communication was very subpar. And, it was kind of unfortunate because, I mean, if you were involved in the streams, you would see that I was really hyping up this tournament, and then it just kind of ended up being, unbalanced. So, I'm a little disappointed, and maybe a part of that's just me being salty that I got such belt to ass. But, like, genuinely, I mean, if you saw the teams, I feel like you would agree with me that they were pretty uneven. My friend felt the same way. Now, I'm not going to speak for Johnny or Kenchi on Quack, whatever you want to call him. But, we both felt like the teams were not in his case, it was less about the teams, it was more about the rules. Because, obviously, this wasn't shown on stream. I got the rest of it. But, obviously, it wasn't shown on stream, but we did a briefing before the tournament starts, like the whole server did, and one of the rules was that every match had to have a different map and had to be played in a different region, since, a lot of the people in the tourney was playing on Oceania servers, it's like the natural servers, and that's fine, but his never switched. Like, he played on Oceania servers both matches. He played on the same map both matches. His team wasn't too unbalanced. It definitely was slightly unfair. But his case was just more like he never really got a base set of rules. And he kind of got shafted out of the first round. So, overall, to conclude this little rant, I just really hope next time we do a tournament like that, because once again, none of the blame falls on Johnny. Most of the blame falls on me. I'm going to be fixing to do the tournament. I'm going to do more research and try to get a better understanding of, like, the rules and everything that goes into that. Because I felt bad, dude. I mean, I felt like, I don't want to say it was a waste of time, but, I mean, it was definitely not the time spent that I wanted. Because, I mean, dude, the tournament was like 20 minutes. We were literally waiting to get into the tournament longer than we actually did the tournament, which is really unfortunate. And like I said, please do not send any hate to the creator of the tournament. I know I don't have a big enough audience to, for there to be any hate to be sent, but you get what I mean. Please don't hate on anybody that was involved in the tournament. This is just a personal opinion of mine. At the end of the day, obviously everybody was kind of new, and everybody kind of didn't know what they were doing. But, once again, if you want to put the blame on anybody for that, put the blame on me. I really should have done more research before the tournament started, because, I mean, I was the one who kind of orchestrated getting me and Johnny into the tournament after Kamen couldn't participate, because he was, going off to college. But, yeah. Overall, there is another tournament coming up, it's a 1v1 tournament, so let me know if y'all want me to do that. But, yeah, all in all, it's on me. In hindsight, I'm not saying I wouldn't have done the tournament, but I probably would have put a little more thought into instead of just jumping right in. We just got the regular whole shit. But, yeah, I definitely would have gave it a little more thought before just kind of jumping right in and, participating in something that, to put it honestly, wasn't fully explained or had like a full set of rules. And that's on me. Another thing, now that we're moving on from that finally, that I kind of want to rant about is Operation 1 hackers. Yeah, I know, we're talking a lot about Operation 1. But, dude, hackers in Operation 1, I feel like, are getting so much more prevalent now. Like, even more prevalent than it already was. And if you've been playing Operation 1 for any kind of extended period of time, you would know that hackers have always been a problem in this game. But, like, here recently, like, ever since Season 3 really released, it just felt like they come in, like, every other game. Like, we literally run into a hacker like once every 4 games. You know this, obviously, if you watch the streams. But, I mean, it's a serious issue, and it's mainly in ranked, admittedly. Like, I don't really experience many hackers in, like, quick play or, you know, anything like that. But I feel like in ranked, and especially once you get into higher ranked, even though I admittedly have not gotten to that part yet, hopefully I do at some point. I feel like it's just become a large issue, and it's been something that pretty much every single Operation One YouTuber or streamer has kind of talked about at some point, it seems. But for one reason or another, I feel like that's an issue that has just never really been fully addressed. And I really hope they address it at some point because, I mean, they need to. Because, I mean, I like Operation One, in case you couldn't tell. I have a shit ton of streams about it, playing the game. Overall, it's a fun time. It's a fun game to play with friends. But at the end of the day, man, when you're doing a challenge or you're doing a series like me and Johnny are doing where we're trying to get the champ, there's already enough good players in the game. Mix them with the off accounts, which is a whole nother conversation. The last thing we need is hackers. Like, that's the last thing. Like I said, I think it becomes an issue mainly in the later stages or like the later ranks when you start really kind of getting into like diamond and stuff. Let me use this one time for fun. But I mean, beyond that, man, it's just I really hope they fix the issue one day because it's just so annoying. And Operation One is too good of a game to kind of continue having that issue. And I mean, my final take on it is just they really need to fix that issue in Operation One. They really need to get the hacking under control. Because, I mean, the game is going to die someday if they don't. If Roblox doesn't kill it first, which, I did a whole Roblox rant video if you want to go check that out. Another thing I want to bring up, though, on some good news, is I'm probably going to be doing a Call of Duty Black Ops series, mainly with zombies, probably. So I'm really excited about that. I've seen some good things about the remaster, but I just don't really know if it's worth $40. I've kind of been waiting for it to go on sale because, all due respect, as much as I love Black Ops 2, it's my favorite game of all time. I don't know if it's worth $40 considering it's a, like 14-year-old game. That makes me seem a little old because, fun fact, I first played Black Ops 2 when I was like, I think 4 or 5, something like that. I was really young. It was one of the first video games I really played. And, I understand it's kind of just like, they're trying to keep the servers up, and that's kind of why they did that, made that a pretty fast game. This is going to trigger people, but I'm going to ditch the ray gun for this, because I do not really have the handle. But anyway, yeah, I understand that, hey, they're trying to make money, and that's cool and all. But, like, dude, it's an over decade old game, and it's basically just a remaster. Like, let's be honest here. Like, that's what they are. And listen, I'm glad it's out on PS5. I'm glad that I'm going to have the opportunity to play it whenever I cop the game. See, you got the game. But it's just, I don't know if it's worth $40. Man, I mean, $40 is a lot of money. It is a lot of money to spend to play like I said, I think it's a 14-year-old game. And, that's not even including Black Ops 1, which is an even older game. And it's the same price, $40. It's just, it comes down to, like, video games I feel like are getting priced out. Because that's kind of when I wanted to leeway that conversation into. It's very unfortunate because for someone like me who's, just kind of plays games for fun, plays it as a hobby, You know, I like competitive games, don't get me wrong, but I mean, most people play it as a hobby, right? That's kind of what video games started out as. That's basically what they still are to this day. And I feel like video games are really just getting priced out of the general population, which, obviously blows balls because, video games are supposed to be a hobby. Everybody, no matter what social class you are supposed to be able to enjoy. But I mean, dude, you see, like, PlayStation, they're ending physical copies, which is absolutely fucking insane because they raised the prices, which confuses me because how are you going to raise the prices to a console when a part of that console is soon going to be obsolete, the disc reader, because you're not making physical games anymore. So yeah, I mean, I guess old physical games, but even then, that's still kind of bullshit that not just are you charging full price, you're overpricing it for the sake of money, even though you obviously have no intention of making physical copy games, which is obviously complete another malarkey, as Joe Biden would say. But um, yeah, it's just kind of insane how priced out the casual gamer is getting when it comes to video games, whether it's copying the newest console or, just even copying the newest game. Like, there's very few games that I would honestly be willing to pay full price for. Resident Evil Requiem was one of those games. Amazing game, by the way. But, like, GTA 6, it's basically going to be like $100 to get the full game, right? Which is, a conversation all in its own. But, it's just kind of absurd what has gone on with the gaming industry because it feels like everything's just kind of been flipped on its head. You get what I mean? Like, it feels like at every single turn, some more bad news has happened. I mean, I can't remember the last time we've gotten some actual, like, real good news in the gaming industry. Because everything is just like, oh, well, the price for this game is raised, or I'm dead. Or like, hey, you gotta pay for these consoles, and I'm gonna keep going even though I'm dead. But, like, the point I'm making is it just feels like the casual gamer has been completely and utterly wiped out of the gaming space. And that infuriates me a little bit, man, because that ain't what video games are supposed to be. And I'll come back whenever I get back into the game because I'm pretty sure it's about to play some copyrighted music. Alright, but anyway, my bad, by the way, for all these weird cuts in the video. It's just, it plays copyrighted music sometimes while in the lobby, and I just really don't want to risk it if it does. But anyway, like I was saying, dude, it just really feels like the casual gamer is just being completely stripped away from video games. And dude, like, that's what video games are made for. You get what I mean? It was meant to be played after work, after a long day, or after school. Like, that's literally what video games are meant to be. It's meant to be a fun experience that can be shared by all. Which, by the way, off topic, why are we still in Christmas theme? It's not even near Christmas. But anyway, like I was saying, it just really feels like nowadays, and I guess it's always been like this, admittedly, but it really feels like nowadays companies are prioritizing profit over literally everything else, even if it ends up tanking them in the long run. Like, it's not even good business decisions. Like, removing physical disc is not a good financial decision, in my opinion. Because all you do, Sony, is piss people off, which in turn makes them not want to buy an already very overpriced consoles and not play your, most of the time, overpriced video games. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. You treat the consumer nice, the consumer is going to pay you back, both literally and figuratively. You treat them like shit, don't be shocked when you get treated like shit back. You get what I mean? And it's sad, man, because there is so many people who just want to relax and play their favorite video game, but they can't because, maybe they work a minimum wage job and can't afford to pay the bills and maybe buy the new Call of Duty or buy the new Spider-Man or buy, all these new games. And like I said, there's certain games like GTA 6 that I think can kind of get away with it. I mean, those games are just so hyped. But the issue arises with the fact that I actually just killed oh my god. I actually just killed myself with the Wonder Waffle. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. I'm just gonna keep talking into the lobby, screw it. But like I was saying, it's just really unfortunate that we live in a modern day where video games are getting priced out from the general public. Because that should never be the case. That should never be the case. That ain't what video games were made for. Video games were made for people to just relax, sit down, have some fun, maybe play with friends or family. And we can't even do that anymore. Nintendo is especially bad because their newest, I don't know, it's a Nintendo
10,
Switch, so I guess I don't
9,
know if it's technically a
8,
console.
7, 6,
But
5,
after this guy
4,
continues
3,
his
2,
rude
1.
countdown, I'll continue what I was talking. Thank you. But like I was saying, Nintendo especially, they are such a shitty company because the Nintendo Switch 2 is basically just like a PS4 when it comes to hardware and all that. Like, it's basically just like a PS4 or like an Xbox One, yet they charge the price of like a fucking PS5 or an Xbox Series X. And that's just, for my money, absolutely insanity because your console or the Switch, whatever people want to say, is literally like a decade behind software wise, basically. Now, listen, I don't know the exact measurements of that. Like, I'm not, an engineer or anything, but the Nintendo Switch 2 is very much behind compared to most other, like, next series consoles, especially when it comes to, like, PC and stuff. Granted, almost everything's behind a really good PC. That's kind of how the cookie crumbles. But at the end of the day, I just don't understand why they're so hell-bent on basically bankrupting their customers. Because, like I said, in my opinion, and this could just be stupid chud me talking, but I don't see the business aspect of pricing out your customers. I understand they're trying to appeal to like a richer crowd, which is already fucked up enough as is, may I say. But even then, like if your casual audience can't buy your games, that makes up, most of the audience. You get what I mean? Like most of your audience is not going to be a rich like billionaire like Elon Musk or a multi-millionaire NFL athlete. Like most people who play video games are average Joes who work 9 to 5s or who are kids coming off of school who just want to run down and relax for a bit. And it's just really hard for me to see the, financial aspect of pricing out your customers. Like I said, maybe the money they gain from the sales, even though the sales are down, obviously where the price went up, that makes up for it. But I don't know, man. It just doesn't really sit right with me and doesn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion. And people are going to have different opinions on that. I understand that. But most people seem to agree that the price gouging by pretty much every major company, studio, all of them, has been absolutely absurd, especially here recently. Like, And another big concern to touch on like GTA 6 is a lot of people are afraid GTA 6 is going to reset the market in the sense that like now every AAA game is going to be like $100. I'm not afraid it's going to get that high. I am afraid though that it is going to get higher, if that makes any sense. Like I'm afraid it's going to make the jump to like 80. Maybe not quite 100, but like 80. Because, in case you don't know, every decade, basically, studios and game companies find a new kind of sweet spot for their games. Like, like basically price gouging. Like, they usually go up like 10 to 20 bucks every other year. And a lot of people are afraid that since GTA 6 is basically a $100 game, if you want to unlock everything that comes with the game, that's going to like reset the market. Once again, I disagree. I don't think it's going to reset the market like that. But I do think it's going to set a new standard for like, well, the next Resident Evil title probably going to be more like 80 bucks, not 70 like it was this past time. And that does make me think, like, when is it going to get to a point where video games are kind of just going to die? I'm not saying, like, they're ever going to, like, fully die. I just don't think that's possible. The video game industry is just too profitable. But it does definitely raise some major concerns with, like, what will happen when they do truly price out at all their major customers. Like, because you can only keep raising the prices before people just go broke, dude. That's just how that works. I have no clue what that just did, but I think it could. I'm dead. I'm dead. Damn. But yeah, like I said, last thing before I end the video, and I know this video took a complete 180. It's not a round 50 challenge. It's more just a yap sesh. But that is something I genuinely think about. Like, when will the average like studio or company or whatever, when will they realize that price gouging their customers is eventually going to come back to bite them in the ass? That's just a random thought I had. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really want to talk about. Like I said, I know this is kind of a random video and ended up becoming like a yap sesh instead of a round 50 challenge. But I mean, that was kind of the point. I just wanted to get some things off
10,
my chest. I may do
9,
these things.
8,
Matter of fact, you know what?
7,
Let's let this fucker
6,
finish his countdown
5,
first, yeah? Let's
4,
let this fucker finish his
3,
countdown.
2,
Since he just so
1.
desperately needs to. But anyway, like I was saying for the 80th time, uh, yeah, I mean, I really just wanted this video to get some things off my chest. Maybe talk to the audience. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts on some of these issues. I know we kind of went all over the place. That's kind of the point of this video. Just to kind of hang out, relax, play some, I guess, semi-knockoff zombies, and talk about some things going on. I'll probably do this weekly, just because it's an easy video to make, will allow me to still make content. Holy shit. But still allow me to make content even while I'm in college. But yeah, that's really everything I wanted to get off my chest. If you enjoy these yap sessions, please leave a like and subscribe. I think I'm going to call this series Breezy Yaps because, I don't know, it just has a nice ring to it. But as always, if y'all enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a new video stream. And yeah, leave a comment down below giving me some of your thoughts on on any situation really that I talked about in this video. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. I love y'all. Stay safe and yeah. Bye guys. Let me kill this zombie bit. Bye. Alright, now seriously. Bye guys.